What's up, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. Today's guest is a card dealer who works at the Queen of Hearts card room located at my favorite bar, the Crystal Lounge. I have played many a games of poker with this gentleman sitting across from me. We talk about all the great times we've had there and disclose some of the bad ones. He is also a former stand-up comedian who spent an extensive time in the Seattle comic scene and has performed at many venues across the country, including the world-famous Comedy Store. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Tracy Tuffs. Well, shoot, deal me in, man. I'm not used to sitting across from you when we're not playing cards.
I know, and I don't have a hand.
Yeah, right. Hey, it's all right. I would have probably lost it anyway.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, I've had my good nights.
It's just like everybody else. You have good nights and bad nights.
Yeah, and
except for me, I have terrible nights.
Because you have to work.
No, when I gamble.
Oh, really? It's just not your.
It's been brutal.
Yeah.
It's been brutal.
So, what got you into dealing cards? Like, how long have you been doing it?
Let's see. I started in August.
Oh, really? So,
Yeah.
like, real fresh.
Yeah. When I was in Seattle, I went to a casino school, but it was for everything, table games and poker.
Yeah.
But I never really used it. I got hired at a brand new casino in Federal Way, and I got hired on the graveyard shift. So you're literally standing there from like 2 a.m. until the sun comes up.
Mm.
There were people coming in that. And then I moved to L.A. And so I just, I basically dealt table games like blackjack and Spanish 21 and 3-card poker. I dealt all that for about a month or so. And then,
Yeah.
Then Monique and I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, so you did the 3-card, all that in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then I imagine they didn't have anything in Los Angeles.
They have casinos in that, but I wasn't interested in I just did it to kind of piddle around when I went to that school. I was doing web development and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Back when the internet was
And it's
not quite, yeah. So when I went to LA, I had a job lined up.
okay.
But how I got hired here was I was going in and playing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was playing at the Queen of Hearts, and then one night, one of the dealers, Sarah.
Yeah.
She said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Nothing. I live in my house, and then sometimes I drive around for Uber."
Oh, okay.
"Do you want to deal cards?" And I said, "Okay."
And she didn't know that you had any prior experience with it, or?
She asked me. She asked me, and I said, "Well, I did deal table games for a month," and then it just kind of went from there. Yami had me go get my dealer license.
Okay.
And I think she was surprised because she said, "Go get your dealer license." I don't know if she expected to see me again because I went in and then the next day I had it.
Oh, wow.
Is
that something you do online?
No, you go into the gambling board. They're right in the same building as the DMV.
Oh, okay.
But it's much quicker.
I see. Do you have to fill out do you have to pass a test or?
No, well, if you consider a background test a test.
So that's it. It's just a background check.
Yeah, they make sure you're not a creep, I guess.
And then so they just depend on whoever hires you to train you how to do it. And like, and
Yeah.
I suppose so. What would disqualify you if you're a felon?
I would imagine because they have to make sure that you're not gonna like create some sophisticated cheating ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's well. I mean, it wouldn't take like anybody. I guess could technically do that, but I suppose
They've. I mean, if when you look in the news, you can find them. Actually, in Seattle, they busted a whole entire ring
really.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it
you know how
happens.
we can be. People can be scumbags.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. I never would have guessed.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah, so that's interesting that it's that easy. You just walk in, tell them your name, say I want to file for a gambler's license, and so that's just to deal cards, or is like what else is that? What else would you be able to do with that license?
I have no idea because I was just going with the intent to be able to deal cards.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. You also have to come up with $170.
Okay, you got to pay for it. That makes, of course, any license for anything is always costing something.
Yes.
State of Montana has to get their cut.
Yes.
Gotta love that.
Always money involved. So yeah, and then now I'm dealing.
Nice.
And it's so much fun.
Well, cool. I'm glad you enjoy it.
Well,
honestly.
I do have fun actually. The best part about it is all the people like yourself and Sal and
yeah.
all of those kinds of people. It can get a little rough when it gets deeper into the night.
Add a little alcohol.
A lot of alcohol.
Alcohol and money being lost is always a tough combination or money being won because people get excited and then other people get mad because they're gloating. Like I've seen it all somewhat unfold where people are getting too cocky because they're winning all the money, but that's everybody else's money that you're winning.
Yes.
So everybody else is getting pissed.
Yes.
Or vice versa, you're losing your money even if somebody's not being cocky. You're just mad that you're losing money.
It's hysterical when people get cocky because it really just comes what's the phrase I keep hearing? The cards speak for themselves.
Yeah.
It really just comes down in that game. There's not much skill. There is a little bit, but it's a limit game.
And yeah, especially there, it's like nobody's pros.
No.
So it's like you're not really playing to bluff people out.
No.
You don't really see that often.
Because it always goes to the river anyway, so
yeah.
You can bluff. I've seen people bluff. I've bluffed, you've bluffed, but not to the extent like in a no limit game.
Right. Where there's
no pushing people around.
Yeah. And people are willing to spend $6 to see the next card.
Yeah.
So, which keeps people honest.
How long have you been playing there?
So honestly, well, I've been going to the Crystal for probably 4 or 5 years, but mostly to do karaoke. And like I'd pop in the casino every now and again. But I only just started playing live poker about the time you started dealing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, I think the first time I played on that table, I've played like just house games before, but never in a like controlled setting like that. I've played blackjack in Vegas and things like that, but I never played poker. And I was always kind of, I don't know, I poker always made me nervous, like live poker, because I felt like there are places around here like the Gold Dust and there's a couple other places that do like no limit. And so I've heard horror stories about like people with just oodles of cash coming in and just buying every hand, and it's like it's impossible to play and it's no fun unless you also are coming in with a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I kind of had learned about the limit process at the Crystal, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll sit down. I'll play. And it wasn't even that I won that made me like it. It was that I can put $40 down. And if I'm not just being an idiot and playing recklessly, if I'm like actually like trying to like play decent hands and I'll fold on this one or I'll test the waters on this one and go out early, I'm like not just losing all my money.
Yes, if you're not trying to play every hand and play aggressive and all that. Yeah.
And then, or you win a small hand here and there, you can sit there for a good 2 hours on $40, buy a couple beers here and there and tip and whatever, but you're still sitting on $40 whether you lose it or not. I could put $40 in a machine and it'd be gone in 30 seconds. You know,
Yes.
I can lose. Well, not that quick, but 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm not sitting there for 4 or for 2 hours on
No,
a
no
machine.
way, no way. Poker is the best bang for your buck if you're going to enter into the gambling realm.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Plus, you get the conversation. Like you're sitting there with. Now, I generally try to hit up a table when I know like at least 3 or 4 people on the table because it sometimes gets a little dicey when it's people that are fresh and don't know, or new people, or especially like you said, late in the night when people are getting a little liquored up and getting a little too excited. I'd prefer playing with people that like regulars that we're friendly with and we know are respectful, and you can just have a good conversation, and
Yes, have a nice time.
yeah. Even if you're losing the money, you're
Yes.
still having a nice conversation. You're still enjoying just sitting there having a good time.
Right. That's why I go in there though, because the atmosphere of the room, generally speaking, that's how it is most of the time.
I love that. Yeah. No, it definitely was what kind of made me want. And then of course you win a couple hands. You walk away with some money and you're like, "Oh, I kind of really like this."
And then or if the nice thing is when you lose, you can just grab a beer and then sing your blues away.
Yep.
In the karaoke lounge.
And that was the other thing that I enjoyed too was, on busy nights when the karaoke room is pretty full and you got a long line to wait in, I can sing my song, know that I'm not going to sing for probably another hour, and go over there and chill, play $40, $60, hang out, and then before I know it, an hour's passed and I'm up to sing again.
Yeah.
So it's a nice
cool.
way to kill time if I'm not like there with a group of people.
Yeah. It's definitely the coolest spot so far that I've found around town. Since I am still somewhat new, a transplant, I've still got that odor of California on me.
So what was it that had you move here?
My better half is from here.
Oh, okay.
And LA was getting fast.
A little crazy.
Because we're getting older. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that it's kind of getting it's just getting wild.
It's run like dog shit.
Yeah.
And that my opinion is that there's oodles of corruption. One way that you can tell is the streets.
Yeah.
When you drive, what's the population of that greater Los Angeles area? It has to be 5 million or whatever. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I know it has a substantial tax base.
Oh yeah.
And when you drive on streets and there's potholes everywhere, it's like you're driving on the moon.
Yeah.
You know that something's up.
Well, and plus when what used to be just Skid Row becomes beyond Skid, like it's
The
everywhere.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's The Walking Dead, literally Skid Row when you drive down there.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating.
But then it's expanded beyond that. It's like everywhere Skid Row now.
Yes. It's terrible. Now, I'm not in anybody's shoes, so I don't know. I don't know what led them there, and I have no solutions to offer other than maybe a nice spreadsheet.
Yeah.
With like, okay, we've just busted someone for burning their tent down, right? Let's see. Should we throw them in jail? Should we drug test them? Should we get a little background info, right? I don't know what the proper course is. Maybe not throwing them in jail might not be the right course. Maybe saying, okay, drug addict, go here.
Yeah.
The drug addicts, they go here. Then they go, then bink, 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 bink. Try to get them on some sort of upward trajectory instead of throw them in the jail. Then when they come out, guess what they're going to be doing?
The better criminals.
They're going to be doing drugs again,
Yeah.
most likely. But like I say, I have a Renton Vocational Technical College education. I'm not the one to talk to.
And that's fair. I mean, I guess we can all be armchair politicians and try and figure out like what the best solutions are, even though. But you know what? It's like there's got to be a solution.
There is a solution. There are intelligent people out there that if our elected officials would maybe get a little bit of balls and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to reach out to some high IQ individuals and see how they would approach these problems. That might be a solution. Just look inside yourself and go, you know what? I'm not solving some of these problems, but I know that our planet is blessed with some big brains.
Yeah.
Let's reach out.
That's one of the biggest issues.
Let's reach out.
Especially in, like, if we want to even talk Washington, that same problem. Like, people just, they're not willing to admit their own fault and, like, reach out for other advice or help.
Yeah.
Like, they think they have all the answers, or they don't, or genuinely don't care.
Yes. Or all of the above. Who knows? But we just know, like, the average citizen just can see there's some problems.
Yeah. And there's got to be solutions. You would hope.
Yes.
So you move here. You said August. Thoughts so far?
Back in June.
Okay.
Last not this past June, a year ago June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'd been here for over a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
How you liking it so far? Thoughts?
I love it. The people are really nice, and they every no matter where you go, you're gonna find something to bitch about if you want to. I like it here.
Right on. Though I like to
that.
hear that because I've been from here my whole life.
Yeah, no, I love it here. The people are great. I like Los Angeles, but I have a little more to bitch about when it comes to LA.
I'm sure the weather was
Seattle.
nice.
That's where I grew up. Seattle for 36 years.
Oh wow.
So
right on.
yeah.
Seahawks fan?
Not anymore. Not since 2006.
What happened then? Oh yeah,
there was a little Super Bowl that they had for Jerome Bettis, I think it was.
Yep, with the Steelers.
Yes.
I remember exactly where I was watching that game.
And when I was in LA watching the Super Bowl because I moved that year, and I was watching it at a gentleman's house named Joey Silvera. I don't know if you know who that gentleman is. You probably don't. I'll just leave it at that unless you want to dive deeper into who he is. I'm watching it with my friend Yoshi, and we could not believe what was transpiring. At least it seemed to me that it was a little shady.
Yeah, I agree.
If you watched
I was in the sixth
Super
grade
Bowl
and I thought that was shady.
If you watch it on YouTube, if you see that game, there's something afoot. But whatever.
Yeah, what do you do,
Yeah.
But I agree.
But I stopped following football.
Fair enough. Baseball?
Love baseball. That I can't give up Seattle Mariners, even though they are a terribly run franchise.
Hey, I'm a Rockies fan. I understand how that goes.
When I say terribly run, I mean they're terrible at producing what fans want to have, which is a champion. They're terrible at that. They're excellent at making money.
Yeah.
Excellent at making money. They've got cash.
Oh, dude, our owner, I don't even know is owner still? I don't even know what you call him anymore in baseball, but our owner said he was happy enough if we made it over 500. I was like, that's what an owner thinks? Like, not a championship, not playoffs, not like, what? You just want us to be a winning team? Like, just over 5?
Yes, they want to be competitive enough to get the butts in the seats to collect the money. When all these owners bought in on these Mariners, that team was worth like $250 million, I think. It's over $1 billion now.
Wow.
So they've made their money just right there alone. Not even factoring in what they're raking in on a season basis, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy the money that's involved, and if you can't see it, just wait till you see when Shohei Ohtani is paid enough to buy a team.
Yeah.
He's gonna get. They're throwing around like anywhere from $5 to $750 million.
Yeah, for like probably 10 years or more.
Yeah.
They lock him, and the thing with baseball contracts are fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like who was the one guy from the Mets who he was getting paid for like 30 years after he played because he signed some unbelievable deal. But I think once you aren't on the team anymore, like if for whatever reason you have to opt out of your contract early, you still get paid that money, but it's like over a longer term.
I can't remember the player that you're asking about, but I mean, Robinson Cano,
Yeah.
contracts like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
That they're all
Guaranteed.
like, well, and the Rockies signed Arenado, Nolan Arenado, to I think at the time it was one of the biggest contracts in the or MLB. And then 1 year later, traded him to the St. Louis and sent them money. We're like, here's a bunch of money, just take him. Like, we'll pay you to take him.
Yeah.
Basically, I think they paid for half of his contract for him not to play on our team.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
It's fascinating. It's big business.
There's just so much money in it.
And you can even hear, it's such a big machine that you can even hear when the players are interviewed, and like if they're traded, for example, the first thing out of their mouth is, "We understand that it's a business."
Yeah.
You'll always hear them say that. I'm convinced that they're brought up once they get into the organizations. They're brought up with XYZ playbooks. You know,
sure.
like they know they know what's going on.
I'm stunned at the amount of money that's in baseball. Like, not to say that I don't get the popularity of baseball, but it just feels like, their arenas are a lot, or their stadiums are considerably smaller than like a football stadium. I know they have way more games, but when you think about the NFL and like the just broadcasting money that they must make, because if you look at the list of like 100 highest rated shows a year, or like watched events a year, I think 90 out of 100 of them are football games. So like their broadcasting money is substantial. I know there's more players to pay. There's a lot of things that go into it, but it's just the money is just crazy in baseball.
Yeah, it's America's pastime. Even though some people might say that what's truly American is football,
because it's only played here.
Yeah, it's pretty much, and it's very just the nature of the game. It's really Americana. It's like, so, but I'm a baseball guy.
I suppose in the same vein though, there's a ton of money in boxing. There's a ton of money in F1 racing, MLS, soccer.
If the show is good, and they put on, I mean, some people are bored by watching baseball, but if you played baseball,
it's a huge difference.
Yeah, I get that idea of like, when I watch it on TV, it's not that, it's kind of boring. I get that. I used to think that way about hockey. I think I was talking to you about that one time. I watched hockey on TV.
This wasn't for you.
And then when I saw a live hockey game,
changed a life.
It changed my
perspective on
it. They put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good show. Live NHL hockey is pretty well done.
Live baseball is fun too.
Yeah,
I enjoy live baseball.
Yeah,
and honestly, I like what they've done to speed it up a little bit, like with the pitch clock and like the overtime rules, where when you're past 9, don't you get a runner on second to start? Or something like that.
Yeah, they've changed. They've altered it, right?
I like some of the rules that they're not so crazy and out there. They seem reasonable.
Yeah, I still don't like in the NFL how they can still end a game with a field goal, right? Doesn't it seem a little counterintuitive? Like you're spending 4 quarters of grown ass men bashing each other up and down the field, and then you allow the game to end with just this, guy that kicks the ball through the goalpost.
I look at it like
you don't view that as like kind of weird. I look at
you
it
talking about like at the end of a game, like
it's like, we won. That our kicker kicked a field goal. We won. It's like, well, I feel like the way you can still have field goals if you want to get points, but the game should have to end with them and then putting the ball into the end zone.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be able to end a football game by going gink.
Well, here's how I look at it. Like, it takes a lot to get into field goal range, so it takes effort to get there. And I would equate it to like a buzzer beater 3-pointer. You know, it's like that's exciting to see. So it's like if you do enough to get into field goal range with time remaining and are able to kick it through, that's how I look at it. Is like just hitting that buzzer beater winner.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm dug in on this one.
That's fair enough.
I demand no field goals in the fourth quarter or the last half of the fourth quarter.
I think we'd have long games if that wasn't the case.
That's it.
Especially with some of these teams anymore.
Well, they're gonna have to figure that out then.
That's on them. I was gonna ask you. I don't think we've ever had a conversation about it. I've heard you touch on it. You did comedy, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Stand up.
I did when I was old enough to walk into a club. I was 21 and I would take the bus because I still didn't at that time. I didn't have a car. I would take the bus from Renton into downtown Seattle, hit the open mic. At that time, open mics, you could get on open mics, and they were still popular, but like from what I've heard nowadays, open mics, you'll have open mics with like tens of people on a list, like 50, and that gets a little silly, you know?
And you're just kind of waiting for your time.
Yeah, and then you go up and you'll do 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Back when I started, you'd get on the list. They'd throw you about 5 minutes. And
That's
then
not bad.
Yeah. In front of a captive audience.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to listen to you on the street.
Where? Sorry. Go ahead.
This was at the Comedy Underground.
Nice.
In Seattle, where I first kind of started. And I did stand up all through Seattle until I was 36. I would travel a little bit, but I was kind of just a city bloke. So most of the time I would perform at the local clubs in Seattle. I'd go to Portland and do Harvey's. I would sometimes go out and do competitions and that sort of thing. Like I went as far as Utah. I did shows in Montana. Like I think I performed once at a bar in Great Falls.
Okay.
This is when I was really young, in my 20s.
And you're just traveling yourself. You're just making the drive.
Hopping in cars and doing road gigs and that sort of thing.
Road dogging it.
Yeah, road dog. I would road dog it a little bit, but not like what some guys do.
Right.
And looking back, I'm not sure if that was good or bad for me, because sometimes I think if I'd have done more road work, I think it would have made me better. Because when you're doing just cities like Seattle, Portland, LA, it's a different audience.
Yeah.
It's a different audience. So
well, especially if you're doing it in your
definitely
hometown, you can make a lot of hometown references and people get all that stuff, or you got people that know you that come to shows.
Yes.
If you go out somewhere else, you're forced to have other people that don't know you come and test that out.
Yep. Yeah, so I did stand up in Seattle for all those years. I was fairly well known, in at least in the comedic circles, for sure.
Yeah.
I know other comics in Seattle know who I am, and I know them, and I love them. They're all most all Seattle comics are great. And then I got bored, and so my better half and we moved to L.A. and I did web work for various production companies of the adult persuasion.
Okay.
And while I was doing that, I was doing the LA kind of thing where I was going out auditioning, doing commercial work, and that sort of thing. And those made for long days.
Really? The audition
Incredibly long days, because what I would have to do is I'd get up, go to work, then during the day I'd break out. My work was cool enough to say, yeah, go out and audition, because they understand,
especially
it's Los
there.
Angeles.
Yeah.
So I'd go out, I would audition, come back, finish my shift at work or whatever I had to do at work, go home, grab notes for the next day's audition, memorize, and then rinse and repeat. And it was a grind. So I started, I met different people in that while I was there, and I'm always looking for like unique stuff. So I ended up making up my own movie. I kind of stopped auditioning, and I just decided, oh, I'm going to make my own movie.
Write a script?
No, this was kind of a documentary on this homeless guy
Oh, wow.
named Doug Dunning.
Okay.
Yeah, my friend Steve and I, it's pretty crazy, but because of my lack of business acumen, I never we shopped it around a little bit. Steve did most of that, but anyway,
It just never made it anywhere.
I don't think so.
Never saw the light of... Is it still out there somewhere?
I have it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I could always, if I wanted to, I could always throw it online.
Yeah, I mean, we live in an age now where it's like you
Yeah.
can produce your own stuff so easily.
Yeah. As I've gotten older, yeah, I see that that's how everything's kind of changing.
It's kind of nice. It gives you more power.
Right.
It's harder. Like the pond has grown larger. You know, you have actually. Well, I feel like you have more fish in one pond, whereas before it was the same size pond, just less fish.
Yeah.
You know, so it's harder to get found, but it's easier to do it. You don't have overhead. You don't have more people that you got to like get approval from and jump through all these hoops.
Well, and what's neat is that if what you make happens to be entertaining, then
it always finds.
Yeah, and then you can profit off of it. That dirty P word, which I don't know how your generation views profit. I lean more towards the right a little bit, I think, than most people.
Fair.
But I'm not against programs to help people, like I understand the Pareto, I guess it's called a Pareto distribution. Anyway, I understand people need help, and I love helping people. But I also like people that get rewarded for their own hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also get like the big corporate machines and that. I don't like, if I can avoid it, I try not to throw my money at big corporate machines. Sometimes it's inevitable.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So did you get any gigs? Like when you were auditioning, did you do any commercials?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did who did I do commercials for? I did for Amco, Meep. I did Time Warner, Volkswagen, a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
That's cool.
And it was fun. It was fun.
Did they decent pay or?
Yeah, it was okay.
Right on.
Yeah, I don't complain. Once I've tricked somebody into hiring me, I never complain about what you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a fun process though.
Yeah, like I'll never complain to Yami about what I get paid at.
Yeah, as long as you're making a check.
I tricked her.
Like,
she hired me?
Yeah, right.
Why am I so what?
Yeah, you're like, joke's on you.
Yeah.
Now you have to deal with me.
Well, it looks like somebody fooled you. No, and that place down there is like family. Everybody's very friendly towards one another, and it's just a cool place to be. I don't have to work there if I didn't want to work there.
Right, of course.
I could find it. Well, I don't know. I could if I wanted to. I could find a different job probably. I just like it there.
Does the late hours bother you?
That's the only thing that bugs me.
Is it?
Is the 2 a.m.s. But the nice thing is that it's only 4 days a week.
Since
it's like it can be like 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
But it's not strenuous unless I'm running drinks to you.
Yeah.
Because gosh,
so
damn
many
it, Dakota,
make you run around all night.
You've got a problem.
Get them steps.
No, I'm just kidding. You're always causing me to go to the goddamn bar. No.
Yeah, you should wear a step counter and see how many extra steps you got to do when I come in.
Let's do a Dakota step count.
Yeah.
And then you can like put it up on your But it's not strenuous. It's fun.
Sure.
I like entertainment. It's a form of entertainment, poker, just like comedy, just like. So it's a natural kind of place for me to be, I kind of feel like.
That's awesome.
I like it. And I saw your band, Dakota.
Yeah, you did. I'm glad you got to come out.
Yeah, everybody down there, gave me the heads up, and I was like, I gotta check these guys out. And I had already bought your CD,
Mm-hmm.
and I really liked the CD.
Thank you.
I know you're probably so. I like the CD, but then when I saw you guys live, that's when I knew for sure that you guys were good.
Thank you.
Because you guys sound good live. You don't sound shitty live.
Yeah, if you can sound, you can sound different than the CD live, but it just still has to be good.
Yes.
Yeah. And for me, when it comes to live performance, obviously sound is number one. I'd rather sound good and be boring. As long as we sound good, but you want to be entertaining too. You want to look good. You want to be have good energy and jumping around and getting people involved, So I like having the stage performance as well.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised because when in like the stand up world you go to support
Mm-hmm.
and then so
Yeah.
and then you're still good job, but then in the back of your mind you're like
He bombed.
yeah, but and that but you still want to support people
For sure.
So
did you ever end up being in the room with any well-known comedians at any time?
yes, I've opened for quite a few well-known comics here. Let's see, Greg Giraldo.
Ooh, very nice. R.I.P.
If you start naming comics off, I'd probably had at least open for him at Giggles in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't
Caroline Ray, Cheech and Chong.
Oh, wow.
Jake Johansson. Just
a nice long list.
A pretty long list.
Isn't Joe Coy from up there?
I don't know if he's from up there, but I never opened for him. But a friend of mine knows him fairly well. Yoshi Obayashi.
Okay.
Knows him pretty well. I've met him once or twice.
Did you get to meet the openers the headliners when you'd open?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've gotten to meet quite a few pretty awesome people.
Yeah. My most shameful story, I shouldn't say it because it entails someone who's passed away.
Well, we don't have to use names.
Okay, so I'll give you an example of something that I'm most shamed about because I really liked this comedian. And I liked the guy so much that I was willing to do anything for the guy.
Yeah.
The guy asked, "Do you know where I could score some coke?"
Yeah.
Well, if I'm being honest, no, because I've never done coke. However, I'm in the comedy community. I bet you I could think of someone who might be able to score coke. Bradley, I gotta get coke for this guy.
Yeah.
So this fellow comic, I won't mention his last name, him and I ran out and about, scored some for him, got it for him, got him back to his hotel, and then that's when Bradley stayed with the particular comedian. I'm not going to mention who he is. But I left because I don't like cocaine.
Yeah. I've never tried it either.
Yeah, maybe that makes me a poor comedian. I don't know, but I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But that is my most shameful tale as far as like what I'm most ashamed of about anything I ever did was comedy was me like kind of bending my
You're like
I don't know. I don't want to use the word morals because I don't really have much. But
you're
it's like
your code.
I felt like a little.
I'm gonna get him coke. Like a fan.
Yeah.
You kind of fanboyed out a
when
little too hard.
And like when I got done and I got out of the hotel, I was like, "What the fuck did I just do? I'm never going to do that again."
Yeah, but that's those situations where you live in the moment, and then
I was living in the moment.
yeah, and then you learn. You wake up the next day. You're like you said, a little shameful, feel shame about it, and then it's like, well, now I know. Like
Yes.
now I know that
I had a cocaine purchasing hangover.
that's. I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
I trust me. I understand regret. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's cool though that you got to like meet some cool guys, and especially guys that you like looked up to and enjoyed their work and things like that. That's always really cool.
Yes. I don't have any regrets about doing stand up. I never made a ton of money. I never, nobody knows me from Adam except for maybe in Seattle. But I have no regrets about following what I wanted to follow.
That's awesome.
I'm comfy in my own skin.
What how long was your like total in comedy?
Stand up probably hardcore, like doing it constantly from 21 to about 36. When I got to LA, I still dabbled a little bit. Like I did shows at the Improv a little bit, the Comedy Store, and I forgot the name of that other place, but it's on Sunset. I only think I was only there once. Maybe not. I don't think I ever did that other club, but I did do the Comedy Store,
Which is awesome because the Comedy Store is legendary.
Yeah, and but and the Improv. I was at the Improv more than any of the three. The Comedy Store. I performed there one time in the 90s. That was my biggest opportunity. And because of my business acumen, I think I blew it then because I interacted. I'm not going to say that. Well, I could say that there's this agent for an agency called Creative Arts, Three Arts Entertainment. They're at the time anyway, they were like Chris Rock's reps.
Oh wow.
And all of them. So those kinds of people. And I was doing a competition in Seattle that I did. It's the Seattle International one, and I did fairly well in that competition. One time I think I got second. That's the best I ever did in it.
Still pretty
but
good.
The time I was doing it, at one of the years I was involved with it, that this agent Mark Schulman was there. And then I kind of forged a little relationship with the guy, enough to where he wanted me to come down there. And this was before I moved there. This was just, gotcha. I'm living in Seattle, come down. So I went down there. I did a showcase for him at the Comedy Store. And I was so disappointed with my performance when I got done that I don't know if I handled the situation correctly or not. I think I did because he invited me to their offices the next day, and then he sent me out to do auditions. But I'm greener than green. I'm not an actor or anything, and he was sending me to Paramount Studios. Yeah. I went to Paramount.
Wow.
And I did I did auditions. The lady at the at the secretary or whatever is like, "Do you have your headshot?" And I was like, "No." That's how green I was.
Yeah.
Like, because I was just in the stand-up world, and,
right.
And he was sending me out to do.
From what I understand, like, then this is all just from things I've heard, is that's just what they do. Like agents and stuff like that, or produce, they'll just send you out to do auditions, even if they know you're not going to get it, or even if they know you're not the right person for that part. They'll just send you out to do auditions because God knows why.
Yeah, he sent me out. I was down there for a week. He was sending me around. I have like, one of my regrets is like the business aspect of showbiz. I'm just awful.
So when you say that you handled the situation poorly, what do you mean?
I probably shouldn't have, like, I think if I remember right, I like actually said, "God, that was terrible."
Oh, okay.
things like that, and then there are there are things that I've learned as I've gotten older about business that I think I do better at now, even though I'm still terrible. But I understand relationships better and things of that nature, you know. But at the time I was in my 20s, like I think I must have been in my mid 20s. I had no clue.
I'm sure there's been plenty of comedians that came off saying that, and it's honestly probably better because if it, let's say it was a bad set, just a bad night, and you're like, oh, I thought that went really well, then they're like, this guy's delusional.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So at least they know that you're not clueless to whatever situation occurred.
Yeah.
I think it's better to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
And even if you were good and you said that was bad, then they're like, what? You know, like, I thought it was great. I don't know what this guy's talking about. Like, he thinks he did bad, but if he did this good and he was bad and he thinks he was bad, he must be great.
Yeah. I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know. I just know that would be one, like I say, no regrets, but things that I would have liked to have been better equipped to handle. That's an
if you only knew what you know now.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, life brings us to where
I'm
we
having
are.
fun in Billings.
Yeah. Have you ever thought
like
about
it.
doing like any pop-up stand-up stuff here?
Maybe. I might, but I might maybe instead try to produce some shows for some friends that I still have in the comedy realm.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun because I've always been not autistic but artistic, and so I'm messing around with stuff. You know, I do all those collectibles and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm messing around with that thing and like doing artsy stuff with it, and I'll show them to you later.
Okay.
Maybe another time I can bring when I have more of a portfolio of it.
Okay.
I'll bring a bunch of it in.
You'll
laugh your ass off.
Do you make pieces then?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Well, what I do is I take existing and convert them.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And I wouldn't describe it as like kids, I think nowadays call it kit bashing.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't call this kit bashing. I would call it my art.
Sure. Do you ever
But
think
it's with a very strange medium, I guess.
Okay, I gotcha. Do you plan on like displaying it at any point?
Yeah, I might try to give it to that Keep It Alive store if he's willing to take some of it.
Cool.
Some of it's a little nutty though.
Do you think you'll sell it or like
No.
Is that the idea?
If you buy anything that I create, you're nuts. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
Sure. It's just
Someone
kind
might
of
like something that like one or two things. Some of it they might just go, "What the hell is that?"
I'm dying to see it now.
Yeah.
You'll have to show me when we're done with this.
It's very simplistic.
Sure.
And it's and then like I say, you'll just have to look at it, and maybe there's a little more behind it when you look at it than you might first think.
Sure.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that's cool that you're into multiple things. Like you like to delve into other mediums and things like that. That's I've always enjoyed that as well. You know, like obviously being in a band wasn't enough for me. I had to do this, which is my form of like stand up in a way. Not really trying to be comedic, I guess. Sometimes I'll throw out jokes and I'll try and be funny, but then other times I'm trying to be more like motivational or like just tell stories, and it's a form of entertainment, I suppose.
Well, that's one of the things I like about you, Dakota, is you're positive.
That's
overall because like anybody can be an asshole. I think it's easy to be an asshole.
Yeah.
I think it takes a little hard work to I don't know how to articulate it, but
to consciously be good and to do good and
to not let the grind wear you down.
Yeah.
Because everybody, I don't care if you're Elon Musk or if you're little old me, everybody feels the weight of the world on them.
Yeah, to whatever the perspective is that you're living in.
Yeah.
Everybody's weight is different.
Yeah. It's and so we all just got to try to
navigate it the best we can.
Yes, carry the football over the goal line.
As long as we got the Steelers refs.
Yes.
we'll win it every time.
Yes, I have Betis on my jersey. But no, you know, it's just important to not let life kind of
weigh you down.
Well, when you see it, like when you see a squirrel's got every goddamn thing going after it. Right?
Yeah.
But you never see a squirrel go, fuck this, and take its own life. Unless maybe they
When they're running out in the road.
Yeah, maybe they are.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, because I have been seeing a few carcasses. But generally, I don't think they're doing that.
No.
They don't give up. And I don't think we should give up.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for whatever it is.
Well, in the vein of positivity, I wanted to ask this question, which isn't... It's actually leans more into the negative, but I think it could be entertaining. I gotta know. Because like I said, I've seen some. But I gotta know. Like, I'm not there every night. As we already mentioned, you mix alcohol with losing money. What's the wildest exchange you've seen at the Crystal? And it doesn't even necessarily have to be at the poker table. It could have been in the other room too. But since you've been working there, what's like the off, I guess I don't even know.
The issue is that most of the time it just entails the player not adhering to the F-bomb rule.
Yeah.
However, one of the strangest ones was, and it's not that strange because honestly, it's just a poker room. There's not a lot of, I can't recall at least anything that's really standing out. Although the other night, airline stewardess came in, and she was already plowed before she got there.
So she probably shouldn't have even gotten.
This is like 7 or 8 o'clock, and she's already ripped.
Yeah.
And she just sits down. Sal's there, getting the game going, and he bets. All he does is put $3 in, and she looks at him. Fuck you. And Sal's just like stunned.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Like he's just playing the game.
I just bet,
Yeah.
And that might have been the most strange thing. And of course, she's gone.
Yeah.
You can't, but.
Well, she shouldn't have even been through the door.
That's most of the situations,
it's
Dakota.
That's usually
most
what
of the
it
time
is.
they come in, they drink, we give warnings,
Yeah.
And I'm a proponent of free speech, but this is a different environment. It's like if you told me not to put my feet on your coffee table, I'm in your house.
Right.
So if you ask me not to put my feet on your coffee table, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. And
it's the same thing down there. They ask that you don't say the F-bomb, and you're in their house. And I hate to, and I know you're an American, and I'm an American, and we love free speech. But if you need to say that, go outside.
Yeah. I mean, you're still in.
But you're in public
business.
in someone's business.
Yeah.
So it's kind of strange. And what normally helps when they go, what, why, I can't do it. I can't not say the F word. Well, first of all, you're not saying much anyway when you say fuck. But that being said, a lot of times I'll just go, oh, you can do it. You're the captain of your own ship. When I say that, and then they get it.
You cannot say it. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You can control yourself
yes.
say it.
Yeah.
You're the captain.
Like, anybody who's like, well, I'm an adult, I can say whatever I want. It's like, and you can also not say things.
Yeah.
Like, you also have the capability of, like, are you incapable of sitting through an hour-long game, 2 hours game, and
not letting a word come out of your pie hole?
Yeah.
In someone else's establishment.
Yeah, it's like, do you not have like the capability of doing such a thing? Like you're, and I understand people who slip up, and if
we
it's part
do
of
too.
Yeah, and I actually have not yet, even though there's been a couple times I've wanted to, or like almost did, and I caught myself.
Yeah.
But I get that, but it's like you said, you give warnings and stuff, and it's like when people are asked that they have to leave is when people get mad. I remember one time there, this guy came in.
Burped.
Oh, you're fine. I do it all the time. sat down with $100 in chips or something like that, and it was him and his girlfriend. This guy was a big dude, like young guy, and he said it, and they had already given warnings, I guess, and they just were fed up. So no matter what, I don't know if he knew the rule or not. Either way, they asked him to leave. He handled it like fine. He was just like, oh, okay, well, I mean that's the rule, and I wasn't aware, but I will abide and I will leave. His girlfriend, on the other hand, was not having any of it. She was the one that was like, I can't believe this, and like this is bullshit. And then she just kept fuck. Like that's the one thing everybody does. Like once they get told they can't do it, and that's why they got kicked out, they'll just say it, and it's like, well, now you can't come back ever.
Yeah,
it's like
it's very strange. Because we'll explain to them, oh yeah, just for tonight, you can't come, you can't be here tonight. You can come back tomorrow.
Yeah,
but it's really interesting.
And it's funny because like I said, the number one thing I always hear is like, well, I'm an adult, and then they get kicked out and they act like a child.
Yeah,
it's like, are you an adult? Because you're certainly not acting like one.
No,
like an adult would accept that they did the wrong thing, take their punishment, and then live to fight another day.
Yeah, it's really funny how they proclaim, "I'll never be back."
Yeah, and then they're back 2 nights later.
That happens, but just the proclamation is like, let's say they say, you're kicked out. I'll never be back. Well, at the moment, they're not really concerned about your patronage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so far you've proven yourself to be an utter piece of crap,
Yeah, it's like,
so it's not fine. Like we're trying to cultivate an area of crappery.
Yeah, of poor patrons.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose, or at least one of them, other than, just asking somebody not to say fuck all the time.
Yeah.
They're trying to cultivate a space for everybody.
Sure. And it's just a respect thing, like,
yeah.
And it'd be no different. Like I know VFWs and places like that have a similar rule where it's like, there's certain rules, and one of them is profanity, and it's just out of respect. You wouldn't go into a VFW and if it said right on the wall no profanity, and just like immediately want to like, break that rule. It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
And by the way, Crystal is not the only poker table in town that has that rule.
Yeah.
I played on the red door table one night. Same thing.
Well, yeah, but when you're playing poker, you don't want a bunch of adults around drinking and then being able to say "fuck you."
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
You.
It's smart, really, because you're diminishing the possibility of
temperature.
Yes, you're dialing the temperature down for a possibility of some kind of altercation to happen. Because you're dealing with money. People get sensitive about that stuff, and some people are cool and they'll just accept that. I mean, you're putting the money on the line. Like,
some people understand that they're in a game and
of chance.
Yes,
that you are putting your money.
And then some
down.
people take it quite personal.
And especially, I don't remember if you were. I don't think you were there the other night when this happened. Maybe you were. I know you weren't dealing. I don't think no. Gosh, this just goes to show how much I go there because I can't keep my
days straight.
Yeah. But there was this guy. I had a bad vibe off of him from the get-go. He was sitting down with his wife, and he was animated and very vocal and stuff, but not in a good way. There was something off about this guy. He almost seemed coked out. You know what I mean? That's how it felt. He was really just and then commenting on everybody's hand. I walked away from the table to go to the bathroom, and I heard him say "Oh, come on, you got to bet on that." It's and then April even told me don't tell people how to bet their money. You cannot comment on how people should. You can't goat people into betting. And I agree with that. Well, this gal I was sitting next to ended up winning a big pot, and the guy had sat there for maybe an hour or so, And like I said, the gal next to me won a big hand that he was part of. And he asked if he could see her cards. And she said no. Which is to her right. She doesn't have to show him. He just asked, and that's fair. You're allowed to ask, and she's allowed to say no. But he just could not deal with the fact that she would not show him his cards. So he just like threw a temper tantrum and was like, he wasn't like, we had to kind of figure out that that's why he was mad, because he didn't like say that that's why. We went one full more hand, and then he was like throwing chips in the middle of the table, and we're like, what are you doing, dude? It's not your turn to bet. And he goes, can I cash out? And he just like throws all of his chips in the middle of the table, and we all like looked at each other like, and then he got up and stormed off. And his wife was even like, what the hell just happened? So then his wife had to cash out and leave too, because he was being...
I think I was...
Were you there?
Was there, but my shift ended at midnight.
Okay.
It was Saturday. I think, yeah, I do remember this guy.
Yeah, that was...
He just got progressively... Well, he was hammered.
Yeah.
And he just got progressively crazy.
Yeah. And that was just so bizarre that he was just like, well, can I cash out? And it's like, you didn't even ask to cash out. Like, he made no, like, mention of leaving or anything. Yeah. He just was like, I'm out of here. And then we had to kind of, like, be like, why was he so upset? Like, what triggered this guy?
Yeah.
It was bizarre. But, yeah, those are the only few I've seen. And most of the time when I've seen things like that, it's when I'm, like, just on the machine. I'm not even on the table, and I just hear people, like, freaking out all of a sudden. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, they had to leave. It's great. And I've seen people get kicked out from the machines, too, because they were, being disrespectful or whatever.
Yeah.
And people had to, like, physically be thrown out of the place.
Oh, yeah. I don't ever want to be the person that is being escorted out of.
I'm sure you don't want to be the person that has to escort either.
No, I don't. But there's been one or two times where I have to follow guys out. But generally speaking, don't be that guy. I drink a ton. And I've never gotten to the point where...
You had to be asked to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know alcohol is a drug, and it affects different people in different ways. But...
if I knew that I was an angry alcoholic or a disrespectful alcoholic, I'd probably stop drinking. I don't think I could handle that.
But it's that self-perception.
Yeah.
Some people don't have it.
This is true.
I don't know, I don't know. Maybe I don't have it either, but...
I was just curious if maybe you had any crazy wild stories from there, but maybe not yet.
Not yet.
There's plenty more time.
Because it's not really crazy and wild. Yes, we've kicked out lots of drunks.
That's any bar.
Yeah. So nothing to write home about yet.
Not a bad thing though. Like, I like to hear that, because I feel like the Crystal gets way too bad a rap for as good a place as it is.
I think it has when I heard something that somebody said something about it, like on air or something somewhere, like in the radio or in the newspaper, I was surprised.
Huh.
Because they don't know what goes on in there then.
Yeah.
Because that place, they are, yeah, it can get loud.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a bar with a karaoke machine.
And you get people that come in intoxicated that...
Yeah.
But that's... Where couldn't that happen?
Yeah.
What bar couldn't that happen in and hasn't happened in?
Yeah.
You'd be...
I mean...
a miracle to find one that nobody's come in and acted like a fool and had to be asked to leave.
Yeah.
And became violent or became, whatever. It's not like it's a haven for that.
No.
It's actually quite discouraged.
Yeah. It's really discouraged. So... I mean, I don't understand when I heard that story. Someone was saying that some guy in the paper or something. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think it comes from a longer history than like recent history. I think that's just my interpretation. I don't know that as fact. I think it's just like old rumors that just never died, kind of a thing. Where there's like... I could name 8 bars off the top of my head right now that I would rather not go to because
it's a
it's notorious for rowdiness.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the Crystal would not be on that list.
Yeah.
I'd put Hooligans on that list before the Crystal, and I love the Hooligans, but I've seen just as many altercations there than I have at the Crystal.
Yeah.
Because it's a bar. That happens.
Yes.
And if you're showing UFC fights, people get aggressive, want to fight. If you're showing football games and people are betting on football,
Mix 1 part alcohol, 1 part asshole, and
the gloves are off.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I mean, so just going back to, you were talking about producing some of your friends' stuff. What would that entail?
Well, we could possibly do a show at the Crystal.
Oh, wow.
That's certainly something that we could do. The issue there is that area only seats like 90 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I would like, if possible, I'd like to find a little bigger place and then produce a show.
Craft Local would be a good spot.
Craft Local.
Mm-hmm. They do mostly music, but they have comedy stuff there. It's just right down the street.
Oh.
It's that's where my band plays a lot. And I think they do comedy nights on like every other Thursday maybe, or every other Tuesday, I don't remember. But they've been open to doing comedy. And I'm sure they would have I'm sure they've had comedy nights that aren't just open mic comedy.
Yeah.
I think they've had like actual just nights of comedy there.
Yeah.
So that's one spot I would look at, and it's right downtown. It's literally, you know where the pub station is?
Yeah.
It's right next door.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Montana Avenue. It's just like right next door to pub station on Montana Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice venue. They got good seating, good stage, and I think it'd be a good environment for comedy.
Okay. I'll have to check it out.
The Red Door does comedy nights too, which is out.
I've heard that on the West End there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard the Red Door a lot. Yeah, I haven't even explored the stand-up scene in Billings. I don't know if it has one. I don't even know if it has one.
I don't think it really does. It's not like a... It doesn't... It does and it doesn't. You know, it's definitely not like Seattle or LA or anything
Has anyone ever tried to open a club here?
No.
Do you think Billings could support a comedy club? That leads me to think that you have trepidations.
I mean, it has a hard enough time with music, like a local music scene, which I think now is one of the best times for local music, which could be an indicator that, yes, it could potentially have that. I think first it would have to have a pretty decent local scene before somebody be willing to have a comedy club, you know? I think right now the best thing that they can do is do dual, like a music venue and a comedy venue, like where you can have comedy nights certain nights a week. I think that's the best course of action because then you can build a scene.
Yeah.
And I know a few people who do regular comedy, like do stand up regularly here.
Oh.
And like there's the Projectile comedy guys. So there is that, which is it's an improv group.
Oh, okay.
They do improv comedy, but they've been around for a long time. So I guess when we do have that as like a staple of Billings, the improv comedy group. I'm not in that world, so you know I'm probably not the best guy to ask about it anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know a
few.
few.
Have you ever
people.
watched an improv show?
Oh yeah.
Good improv is pretty good. Bad improv is really bad.
It's rough to watch, yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's good, it's good.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like the way they do it is very like Whose Line type, you know, it's suggestions from the audience. Obviously, that's most improv places.
Yeah.
But it's run pretty well. Like they have a good process of how they run it.
Yeah.
And a good cast of people.
I like live stand-up, although my tank's kind of full on all that kind of stuff. Just because I've been around a lot.
Yeah, it's probably... I can understand that. But it's there, you know, it's an option. And I do like to know that it's there.
Yeah. I'm admiring your guitar there.
Oh,
I didn't
thanks.
even know. Well, I guess I should assume that you played the guitar, but I thought you kind of just sang.
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
That's
play
all
the
for
guitar?
looks right there.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely tried. I've made attempts. I just don't have the dexterity for it, nor the patience.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you celebrate Christmas?
Of course.
Well, you have that stocking there.
Uh-huh.
You have a guitar, but you don't play the guitar. I thought you had the stocking, and maybe you didn't celebrate.
Yeah,
Christmas.
celebrating Christmas is a little bit easier than playing the
guitar. Yeah, I guess it is.
Takes a little bit more technical skill there.
Yeah.
But and you know, I think more than anything it's patience, and I don't really have that just yet. And I have my feet in a few too many ponds of water that I don't have time to pick up a guitar and really learn. Nor like I also don't really have that itch to scratch either. You know, like I've never really been like, oh, I really want to, like if I really wanted to know how to play guitar, I probably would know. But it just never really was
It's
that.
not gnawing at you.
Nah, like it just never has been like that thing for me. I prefer writing lyrics and singing. Like that's always been my
Go to.
yeah, the thing I just enjoy the most.
What's your best lyric that you've ever written?
Whew, that's a great question actually. And you know what? I love a good lyric. God, if I had my phone on me. I we just wrote a song, and I suppose I don't want to spoil anything, but I will anyway. I wouldn't say this is my best lyric, but it's a fun one that I really like. This is a new song that we're writing, and the premise of the song is like AI, and like it's kind of about AI, but it's also about like the idea of being like your information and like your consciousness being transferred into a digital platform, and it kind of being like a Matrix type situation. And so the idea being the song is like a message, considering like all information would be available. The song is like a message in a bottle for anybody in the future that may end up in this situation to find, and if they read it, you know, it's like, oh wow, like so the lyric is I'm living inside a digitalized alien mind. Don't be surprised you helped to devise your own demise.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
And so, and there's some.
And AI is a hot topic right now.
Oh, I know, and it's kind of terrifying.
Well, it is scary when you hear the people that actually created AI say, yeah, there's a chance that it could destroy everything.
Yeah, there's a chance we made a mistake.
But gosh darn it.
Well, and like, didn't the CEO of ChatGPT get fired because I can't remember why he got fired, but essentially they were saying like the direction that he wanted to take it was a dangerous direction, and then all the employees of the company said they would quit if they fired him, so they didn't fire him.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that's essentially like what I've gathered as the situation of that. Yeah, it's a weird deal.
Well, I don't know how long AI has been around, but I'm guessing that before the public had access to it, it has been in use for a while, much longer than before.
That's everything. Like anytime technology comes out,
yeah,
it's always been around for at least.
It's curious to know if the government has used it to manipulate, but yeah.
I mean, what haven't they used to manipulate?
I don't know.
Things that we know and things that we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God knows the technology that all the DARPA stuff that like we never would have, that we didn't know for the longest time, that came, you know, all the undercover secret shit that, I mean, there's got to be weapons out there that we've never even could even imagine.
I think you were correct.
Or in development.
Oh no, I'm sure there's like some amazing heinous shit that they have.
And you know what? I'm the type of person, I don't want to know. Like if it exists, it exists. There's nothing I can do about that. But I can if I know about it, that's just going to make me more terrified, and I'd rather live in a state of ignorance than a state of fear.
Yes.
You know? So it's like, that's fine. You keep it to yourself. Do I like that it's secret? Do I like that it's happening? No. But I can't stop it. Like me and myself, there's nothing I can do.
You're not trying hard enough.
Well, I guess not. Yeah. I'm just trying to write songs and live my life, all right?
I'm just kidding.
I don't got enough time to try and take down the Fed.
You've got to save humanity.
Yeah.
You can't do that?
One voice at a time.
Yes, save humanity.
If my platform was bigger, maybe we need more people to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe so we can save humanity.
Yeah, we gotta stop AI. Yeah, we're like probably 5 years away from Skynet. God.
Well, I'm going to watch that Matthew Broderick movie again, War Games.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We'll figure out what to do.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
That's old school.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Dakota.
reaching the end here, pal?
Yes, I have to get to the poker room.
Are you working tonight?
No, I'm gambling.
You're gonna
This
go
is
play?
my gambling night.
Okay,
You're
right.
cutting into it.
Well, I might have to come out and play with you.
Well, I think you should.
All right.
I have to cash my check.
No, okay.
I have to pick my check up, cash it. I'm going to
And then
cash
lose
it
it?
at the Monty.
And then go
So-
back and lose it all.
Only a portion.
Yeah. Well, hopefully double it
That's the plan.
That's
but
always the plan.
It's probably not going to work out that way.
for sure.
And
Well-
then I'm going to get kicked out for saying the F word.
Yeah. Now you've said it enough on the podcast. It's not gonna. It'll be stuck in there. Well, before we go, I already told you. I like to end my episodes with a positive or motivational message from the guest to the audience. What do you got for us?
I think kind of what we touched on earlier is just set goals. Don't let life be the cause of your demise. You get to fight through your crap. Fight through the bag of shit that you may or may not have been handed and keep going.
I like that. Yeah. Don't let life bear you down like we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Break through and live the dream.
Well, I mean, whatever your dream is, go after it. Now, that dream may be small or it may be immense, but you know, follow it. Don't let the car trying to run your ass over like a squirrel ruin that.
You'll never reach it if you don't try.
You'll never. You have to at least try. Yes.
It's the only way to get there.
Yes. Now you could end up failing like I did.
But was it a failure?
No.
Did you enjoy your time?
Yes, I'm still going.
And I'm sure you gained a lot of experience and had a lot of good memories and a lot of good times.
Yes.
And wouldn't you rather look back and say, "Hey, at least I tried"?
Did what I wanted.
And I had some good times rather than be like, "Man, I really should have done that."
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So just try, for the love of God.
I like it. Right on, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show.
Dakota, you're the best. You're a nice individual.
I appreciate
Thanks for asking me to do your podcast.
Of course, man.
And
We'll have to do it
I'm
again.
wishing you major amounts of success.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
You're
Well,
trying.
I'm trying. We're 180 episodes at a time. I think this is episode 181. This episode.
Okay, so now I know what numbers to choose on Keno.
Oh, yeah, there you go. 1 and 81.
8, 81, 18. I'm going to hit big.
Here we go, brother. I'll meet you over there.
You don't make much. Oh,
What's it?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe if you want. But either way, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it.
Just gotta keep